Hey friends, oh, yep, it's working. Hey friends, my name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. I thought the mic was off. I'm back. Good lord. What a week. Jeez. So, what's today? Wednesday? A week and a day ago, our family went to Tybee Island, and Azalea and I got the flu. Azalea fought it off in one day because, 13-year-olds. And I still kind of feel like ass. So, yeah, the 12 hours of Christmas live stream had to be canceled. Sorry, not canceled, postponed. We're still going to do it. I don't quite feel good. I really wanted to do it today, but I'm not there quite yet. But I do feel... I want to see how my voice holds up. Because I think I might be able to do it on Friday, but I just don't know. I don't know how my voice is going to hold up. The flu is out of my face, which is great, but it's kind of still in my lungs and in my throat. So, yeah, I want to stream for a while tonight. I'm going to do at least an hour, and I just want to kind of see where my voice is at. My voice is the hardest thing about the 12-hour live stream. if you ever get the chance, don't. But try to talk nonstop for 12 hours. You won't have a voice. Like halfway through, you won't have a voice, unless like you work a job where you talk nonstop all day. I don't. My job is to talk for about 2 hours at a time every other day, essentially. Other than these live streams, I don't really talk all that much in life. Maggie and I talk. I talk to the kids every so often. But yeah, I don't have a life where I talk more than like, let's say 3 hours a day. And your vocal cords are a muscle. So if you don't use that muscle for 12 hours a day and all of a sudden you try to use it for 12 hours, hey, it's going to explode. So the hardest part about the like endurance live streams has always been trying to figure out how to get my voice to last. And I've tried a bunch of different things over the years. But it's always an issue. So, yeah, so the plan is to see how tonight goes. And then I wanted to either do the 12-hour stream on Friday or on Sunday into Sunday night. I think Sunday into Monday is New Year's, right? So we would stream from 2 p.m. 2023 until 2 a.m. 2024. I think that's the deal. Or we could also do it Monday night, January 1st. I'm not sure. We'll see how tonight goes. We'll see how I feel on Friday. Like I said, I feel way better. Thank God. This was rough, man. Like, this is I never had the flu. Never had the flu. And now I got it twice this year. Just awful, dude. Like there was like 48 hours of just like brutal body aches, like just laying in bed writhing in pain, just God kill me. And I mean, that unfortunately those 2 days were when I was in Tybee on vacation. So yeah, this has been a rough this has been a rough this has been a rough week and a half or so. But hey, man, here we are. We're doing it. We're still alive. All is well. 2023 is coming to an end. We will go down in a ball of flames together. What's been crazy too is that like so many people have the flu or COVID right now. It's just nuts. And Maggie saw earlier that like right now is the biggest, either the biggest or the second biggest resurgence of COVID since the actual pandemic. Where's the battery for the Christmas lights, yo? I packed it, and it's still kind of packed. Yeah, all right. You ain't getting no green and red Christmas lights tonight. Sorry, friends. So. Yeah, that's kind of the deal. Hey, we're going to do 6 batteries tonight. I tried to pick them all up, but they just exploded everywhere. We are going to take a look at Tiny Whoop's website. They've got a bunch of new motors that we're going to talk about. I'm going to tell you which ones are on their way to me. We're going to do mailbag. You get to see which ones already arrived. And, of course, this is a Q&A live stream, as they all are. Today is Wednesday, December 27th. I hope you all had an awesome Christmas. I certainly did, despite the sickness. Gave some amazing presents, got some amazing presents, spent time with the people on this earth that I love the most, other than you beautiful bastards, of course. Although we spent a couple of minutes the other day, and here we are again. And we're going to spend a shitload of minutes together on the 12-hour stream, whatever the hell that ends up being. So yeah, man, really, really good end to, I got no complaints about 2023. It was, an interesting year, an interesting mental health year for me. Life with depression is just that. It is life with depression. It's not something that you cure. I don't care how much money or time or effort you spend with talk therapists or medicine or anything. Like, you're in it for as long as you can stand it. And it, it comes and goes, and it kicks your ass, and then it goes away for a while. And it came for me this year a bunch of times. I'm better equipped. I was better equipped this year than any other year of my life to deal with it, and thank God for that. And thankfully, I've got some amazing people in my life now who are super understanding of it, and just make me happy enough to kind of keep it at bay more often than not. But it still comes pretty aggressively at times. And yeah, there were some periods this year where I was in it pretty good. And so, yeah, interesting year. But I really cannot complain. I get to spend this year in an amazing house with an incredible family, an incredible group of people in all of you. And yeah, you all have continued to support me enough that I can keep doing this full time. And that's like, I'm a super, super, super lucky guy for that. So thank you all for that. It really does mean a lot. This is what I want to do. I think I'm really good at this. I think I have a lot of really good info to share with everybody, and I think that together we have if nothing else, we've completely changed the world of like freestyle tiny whooping, right? Among other things, right? The grander scheme of this live stream has been kind of micros in general, and I think this year was really heavy on tiny whoops because we got a lot of really cool stuff that have made a massive difference in specifically tiny whoops. I think that we've actually kind of taken a step back, unfortunately, this year with micros, mainly because some of the really good motors that got put out last year were discontinued, and nothing has really replaced a bunch of them. Although there have been a bunch of really good 1404s that have come out. But yeah, it's been a hell of a ride, and I'm excited to just kind of keep going with all you beautiful bastards. Speaking of you fuckers, Hockey Rounds was first in the chat. Flush FPV was next. Troy Prelog, Ethan W, Northern Tier, Scott FPV, Freelojo, Bob Bruce, Frank Nicholas, Mick Mucus, Lucky, Curtis Hayes, Matt Trombley, FP Avery, Veritas Weasel, Gusto FPV, Douglas Otwell, 1B67 4H, Curtis Hayes, Flush FPV, Scott FPV, Adam Weston, Hendrix Freakazoid. I mean, everybody bitches and moans that I curse, but then when there's people named bitch ass FPV, what am I supposed to do? I can't just not give people the shout out. Come on. What are you pissed off at me for cursing for? Fuck off. Jason Moss, J-Spin FPV, Brent Anderson, Gert Jan X, Brandon Woodford, Scott FPV again, Brandon's Baked Beans, Jeremy Stone, Troy Prelog, J-Spin. I think I got... Whoop, nope. Well, YouTube did the thing. Somebody's going to get forgotten. It's not my fault. Blame YouTube. Nimbus, Rain Squad, another trucking FPV channel, CQB. I have a CMYK FPV. I think I got most of you. If I forgot you, sorry. Come on back to the next stream and I won't forget. I didn't forget you. It's just, YouTube's chat scrolling is a hot mess. If you want to talk directly to me in the chat here, just type CiottiFPV at me, yo. At CiottiFPV, or just type it. If you type someone's name and you spell it correctly, it will do this. It will light up an orange, only for that person, though. So if you want to get somebody's attention, just type their name. Spell it right. Put the spaces in the right... gross. In the right places. Oh, boy. That was a Dayquil burp right there. I've been living off of Day and NyQuil. It is the only reason that I'm sitting here right now. It is magical stuff, man. I hope you can't take too much of it. I would know by now. If you like this live stream and would like to see it continue forever, head on over to CiottiFPV.com, and there's all kinds of buttons you can click. This is the stream schedule here with a link to the YouTube. Patreon definitely helps me out the most, as it says. Etsy has some really fun stickers and hardware you can buy for yourself. Over on Teespring, you can get yourself a cool shirt. And then on Fiverr, you can work one-on-one with me, take advantage of a guy with almost 8 years, probably more than 8 years of experience at this point, who's willing to help you fly better, tune better, and build better. I'll give you all the secrets, man. I'm not keeping any secrets for myself. I just vomit them all out on all these live streams. But a one-on-one session, good Lord, you can get enough info in like a one-on-one session where if you've been into FPV for 6 months, at the end of a half an hour, it will be as if you've vacuumed up enough info that you've been into it for like a year and 6 months. Like, it's really wild how much info you can get. You know, come with a list of questions and just rapid fire them, and we'll work through all of them. Or I can guide you along the way. Like, if you want to work on flying better, if you want to work on building better, tuning better. I've worked with so many people that I can literally like take you down the path if you don't necessarily have like a whole bunch of questions in mind or like a real reason for the session. And yeah, you can just give yourself a massive heads up, foot up rather. And the other thing that's kind of nice is that, you know, most of the info, if not all the info that I've gathered, has really been tested like quite a bit. You know, you go on Facebook groups and you get info, but there's a lot of bad info. There's a lot of people that have flown for 5 minutes who are internet experts, and will tell you emphatically that the Meteor 65 airframe is the most indestructible, best frame ever built, for example. And then, you know, if you dig down a little bit and you actually look at that person's page, they've been flying for 14 minutes, and they've only crashed it once, so they don't know that they just fall to pieces. So yeah, take advantage of somebody that's kind of like fact-checked the info, double-checked, triple-checked a lot of this testing, and yeah, stop buying the wrong thing because some jackass on Facebook on a Facebook group told you the wrong thing. There's also a whole bunch of affiliate links here that you can hit. I mean, at this point, the internet, on the internet, if you're doing an order, someone's got an affiliate link to that website. Hook that person up, help them keep doing what they want to do, and help yourself out because you'll get better quality YouTube content for it. I have affiliate links, so all you got to do is hit someone's affiliate link at any point before you check out. When you click their affiliate link, it puts their code into your shopping cart, and when you check out, that store gives them a 1 to 6% kick as per your order total as a thank you for recommending you. So yeah, I have affiliate links for WeBleed, Newbie Drone, FPV Cycle, Amazon, Get FPV, Ummagawd, Brain 3D, HD0, Flywoo, Emacs, Banggood, Camera Butter, AliExpress. It really makes a big deal if a whole bunch of people do it. It's free money and it keeps us going, and hey, then you got more stuff to watch here on YouTube. Why are there so many dead bugs on this desk? Probably because I haven't really sat here much. I've just been laying in bed and on couches for the last week. That's how you support me. I greatly appreciate it. Speaking of support, a whole bunch of you beautiful people have joined the Patreon over the last couple of weeks, and I have not been here to give you your well-deserved shout-outs. Matt Norton, welcome to the Gangly Gang, my friend. Thank you for jumping on and supporting me. Bryce Miller, you as well. Welcome to the gang, friend. Jarno Van, I'm just going to say E. Jarno Van E, welcome to the Gangly Gang, man. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the support. Ricky Boring, thank you for the support, my man. And I think there was one more. Simon, thank you for joining the Gangly Gang, dude. Much appreciated. Welcome to hell. That's great. You're going to love it. Oh, sorry. Nick Rotolo as well. I missed one. Wait. Hold on. Well, there's a bunch more here. I thought I kind of queued them up. I queued them up very poorly. Daniel Smith, welcome to the gang. Kevin Fondren, thank you for your support. Welcome to Gang Gang. And then T-Nugs, there it is. There it is. I put a little marker on the last one. T-Nugs, welcome to the Gangly Gang, brother. Thank you guys. Very, very cool. That you're hopping onto the Patreon. Patreon is really like the thing that helps me the most, and to be honest, you get the biggest set of benefits. You get full Discord access, which is going to get you into text channels like the Stick and Dick End Fund. This is a box of every single stick end that was in stock at the time. I mean, pretty much still in stock. so that you can rent this box out from me, so you can actually try all of the stick ends rather than just looking at pretty pictures of them on the internet, which doesn't really help you out at all. You have no idea if they'll work right on your transmitter and not hit the corners, and or you have no idea whether you'll like them or not. It's sometimes pretty surprising. Like when I was buying all of them, there were certain stick ends that I would try that I would be like absolutely certain that I would hate. And then I put them on the transmitter and fly them a little bit and be like, well, this is really not that bad. I would then go back to my original ones and be like, okay, yeah, I didn't actually like them. But yeah, it's sometimes, and the feedback that I've gotten from that box, a bunch of the feedback I've gotten from it is like, yeah, you were right. Like there was this wacky set of stick ends in there that I really liked. So yeah, it's something pretty cool that you can kind of get in on. There's a whole bunch of other text channels that are super fun over on the Discord. You're also going to get access to a super secret YouTube playlist with like Patreon only live streams that we've done, some shitty flying, some sketchy flying, some half done edits that'll just never see the light of day. So there's some fun stuff there. And of course, the never ending, undying adoration of the lankiest son of a bitch in FPV. Probably not the lankiest, but definitely the goofiest. All right, so what's happening in chat? Folks that have tagged me so far have said things like, Hockey Round says, hope you're feeling better, CiottiFPV. I am. Still not quite there yet, but yeah, thank God. Yesterday and today I was finally like, oh, I'm a person again. I'm not just a puddle of dog vomit. Troy Pilag says, hello, friends. Hello, friends. Glad to see you back in action, CiottiFPV. Thank you, dude. Merry Christmas, brother. Left you a little something in yo PayPal. Let's take a look. Where are we at? Where you at, PayPal? There. Damn, Troy. Super generous, man. Super generous. Good Lord. Troy with $100 PayPal. He says, Merry Christmas, you gangly bastard. Thanks for all you do and for being you. You're the bestest of the best. Love you, bro. Thank you, dude, so much. Very cool of you. Super generous. Yeah, damn. I'm going to leave this and try to... Do me a favor, Troy. Remind me on the 12-hour stream. That is going to go towards the onesie fun. Something fun that I do on all of the Christmas live streams is I have this awful red onesie, and the little game that we play is I set a dollar figure, and if we hit that dollar figure in PayPals and Super Chats by the end of any hour, I have to wear the onesie for the next hour. It's pretty uncomfortable. It's super embarrassing, right? That's the game. And I'm going to put that towards the onesie fund now that it's like kind of after Christmas and whatever. So the onesie fund is going to start off with $100 in it. This year what we're doing is $200 an hour. So for every time we hit a $200 mark, I have to wear the onesie for that next hour. In the past, I've done it. I've done a lower number, and I've just ended up wearing the onesie for the entire 12 hours. And it's like it just makes an already super challenging thing that much more of a nightmare. So yeah, I'm gonna try this year to set the number higher so that hopefully I can get a reprieve at some point and take the damn thing off and stop sweating my balls off at some point for like maybe an hour or two. But yeah, now that we're beyond when the 12-hour stream should have started, yeah, I feel comfortable putting these towards it. So, matter of fact, easy enough. You don't have to remember. I am just going to go in here, and I'm going to change this to, what have I called it? I can look up at I can look at the live stream from last year. Whatever. Ciotti wears whatever, that's fine. We're gonna put it there, and then so it's a 12-hour stream, so it's gonna be, that would be like the actual total amount there. And so I'm gonna do that, and then let's bring that back like that, and cool. Now I can't Now I won't forget it. Come on. Scooch this over a little bit. And that's the stupidest way to word it ever. Christmas onesie fun. Fine. That's good enough. Okay, cool. So there it is. Thank you, brother. Northern Tier says, howdy gang, hope you're feeling better. CiottiFPV says, hope you're feeling better. Bob Bruce says, hola my gangly friends. McMucus says, hello whoopers of the world. And CiottiFPV. Veritas Weasel also says, not also, Veritas Weasel just says, you slightly resemble a guy that used to have these wonderful 12-hour shows on Christmas Eve. I really miss that guy. What was his name again? Yeah, man, there was a very strange, like, Stockholm syndrome sense of of loss, or of like missing something Christmas night this year. It was very, very weird. Like, a year goes by between doing these, but yeah, Christmas night I just felt lost, not hanging out with you all, torturing my vocal cords. So yeah, I God damn it. Like, it's such a crazy thing. It's so challenging, but it's like so fun, and like yeah, I don't know. But we'll do it Friday or Sunday or Monday, and we'll have just as much fun, I hope. And then next year we'll do it on Christmas again, because yeah, it just works really well. You know, it's kind of an idea that I stole from Jimmy Broadbent, I believe, a long time ago, in that on holidays some people don't have families to go to, and it started during COVID, when like everybody was separated from their families, and from a mental health standpoint, holidays are really difficult, and an already difficult holiday that you're then separated from everyone, that is a recipe for folks with major depressive disorder like me to do something really dumb and really permanent. And so, yeah, absolutely anything that I can ever do to help with a situation like that, yeah, of course I'm going to do it. So yeah, it was born from that a few years ago, and then we just kept doing it because, hey, you know, just because we're not quarantining anymore doesn't mean that people still aren't separated from their families, or just having a really rough time, having a really rough day, going to families' houses where yeah, say anything here at this point, right? Families that don't respect people's genders, families that are politically insane, families that are just mean, right? Like, it's really hard, and it's like kind of my honor in a way to be able to help with that at all. And the 12-hour stream always feels like that. Like, it always feels really, really good. And I will usually get a torrent of messages afterwards of people thanking me and telling me the story of their night, and how much it helped to kind of have me available. So, yeah, it felt bad to not be able to do it this year, but I just couldn't. There's absolutely no way. So, and then, hey, the whole holiday is hard, so hopefully I'll still help some folks out. And for those of you that did reach out to me this year, and just thank me for the quick little couple quick little streams that I did, yeah, it's my pleasure to be able to help in any way. And yeah, keep going. It's worth it to stay in it. Just keep smashing through. We'll do this together. Cool. What else is going on in Chad? Where was I? Here we go. Brandon Woodford says, what's up, man? Gert Jan says, everything okay again? Get well soon, man. CiottiFPV says, I got bitten by a 5-inch today. Oh, God, and almost lost the top of my finger. Bent over to pick up my quad, hit the arm switch just as I picked it up. Yeah. Yeah, be careful, dude. There are any number of... I mean, you know, when you get bit, like... it's interesting, right? Like when we build our first 5-inch rig, hopefully someone or something has shown us how sketchy they are, and we'll be like really careful for a while, and then we'll get a little bit less careful and a little bit less careful and a little bit less careful, and eventually we'll get bit, and then that's our reminder to like be really careful again. But then unfortunately a lot of times like we'll get a little bit less careful, a little bit, and like each time that we get bit, like it could, it could get really bad. So like, I don't know, like how do I tell you to be more careful? I don't know, because I do dumb shit too every once in a while, right? Like we all get kind of careless, but it's really, really, really important not to, because one of these things armed or at full throttle coming up into your face, like that's life-changing shit, right? Like you're probably not going to die from a 5-inch. You certainly could. If you took one to the neck and it hit you just wrong, like it could absolutely cut some seriously important shit. And if you're far from from a hospital or an ambulance, like good luck, or you're alone, God forbid, like yeah, it could certainly take somebody out. Pretty low chances, but I mean, taking a 5-inch rig to the face armed, like that, if you have a career that has anything to do with your appearance, you might not anymore. So like, and even if that's not your career, like there's just all kinds of awful stuff that could happen. So like, let's all take Scott almost losing the tip of his finger as our reminder, instead of waiting for ourselves to have something weird happen, and let's be super careful with bigger, more powerful rigs. Although even like smaller rigs, I've got a couple of scars on my right hand from 3-inch rigs, and it was pretty nasty. And if you catch one and it like cuts an artery or something, or a tendon or something like that, like A, that's going to be really expensive. B, I think that sometimes like that's just sort of it. Like you just won't be able to bend your finger anymore. Although I assume with enough money you could have it surgically reattached or whatever. But let's just not go there. Let's just be cool and not do stupid shit like hand launches or hand landings. There's just no reason to do that stuff. Every once in a while there is a reason, but like, yeah, it's pretty rare. Pretty rare. So don't look. You don't look any cool. Hand launching, hand landing, hand catching, that kind of stuff, it doesn't make you look cool. You're standing in a goddamn parking lot with fucking goggles in your face with antennas all over the place. You look like an asshole. I look like an asshole. We all look like assholes. You know what the joke of it all, though, is that we're the one having the most fun because we're the one flying in the air. So embrace looking like an asshole. It's the price that we pay for being able to pretty much fly. Like, have the closest possible experience to actually flying without jumping out of an airplane. So, yeah. The joke's on them. Look like an asshole. Embrace looking like an asshole. We win. The end. 1B674H says, show us the fireflies. What fireflies? Show us the fireflies. Is that the name of one of the new Tiny Whoop motors? If it is, I don't have them yet, unfortunately. We are going to do mailbag in a second, though. Let me just get caught up on chat. CMYK says, yo, dudes. What is happening with the chat? Wow, I'm way far. YouTube, jeez. Brandon's Baked Beans says, hey, I did want to mention something. Here's something that if you haven't had happen to you, it will happen to you at some point, almost guaranteed. Especially if you have single switch arming. This is what gets most people. This is the thing that lands most people in blood. Your transmitter is on the lanyard, and you bend forward for some reason, and the transmitter rotates, and your arm switches up here, and it arms on your belly. Cool. If that hasn't happened to you yet, it will happen to you at some point. And there's such an easy solution. double arming is obviously a solution. I don't like double arming because I like to be able to quickly rearm a rig. I'm not in never disarm camp, mainly because when you're crashing through Scraggle, if the quad is armed, it does not fall through the Scraggle as much. It tries to wind stuff up around the motors and then get hung up in the tree. If you disarm as soon as you crash into a tree, it will almost always fall down through that tree. And then as soon as it clears the branches, you can quickly rearm and then try to find the horizon. Or if you have a switch like I do set to horizon, you can kick it into horizon and arm it, and then it'll automatically find level for you way quicker than you'll be able to. This super simple solution to that issue is to not zero your throttle. Just kick after you land, just push your throttle up a little bit. And if your throttle is up off of 0%, the arm switch won't do anything. So if it swings around like that and flips to arm, it won't come up into your face and try to eat your babies. So do that, yo. It's such a simple little thing. Or even better, just don't zero the throttle when you land. Come into land, and then you're going to have like 25, 30% throttle, and just disarm it and let it fall a foot to the ground. So a couple of different ways, but yeah, don't let your throttle be at 0 until you're ready to take off. That is the absolute easiest way to prevent your face from getting chopped up, or hands or balls or whatever. Limit says, get well soon, brother. Thank you, dude. Brandsmake Bean says, I always remind myself to have fun when and where I can, and to make better when I can, and better for those around me. In the end, everyone is equal, and you can't take it with you. God damn, is that true? Tiny Whoops in the house. What's up, Jesse? How are you, my man? He's probably already gone. But anytime Jesse graces us with his presence, we should be appreciative. Yeah, just such cool stuff. Jesse's just such a cool guy. I can't, like, I'm lucky enough to have had a bunch of like actual conversations with him and like meet him a few times, and it's just ridiculous what an awesome human he is here on Earth. I mean, you can kind of tell by his website, like it's just amazing and like super unique, and just yeah, the dude is an artist. You know, you meet people in life that are like true artists, and they don't necessarily have to be painters or musicians, right? Like art crops up in millions of different ways, and Jesse is for sure one of these folks that is like a true artist, and yeah, it's I'm a lucky guy to get to think of him as a friend. CMYK dropping the CiottiFPV.com link. Thank you, dude. Limit says, I want to build a cinematic Walksnail 75, and I have a set of 0802 28,000 kV motors. Is that good enough, or do I need 1002s? Limits, you should come to the 12-hour stream, because I'm going to get my cinematic 75mm build up in the air. I need to swap the camera over and get it bound and all that good stuff. I've not flown this yet, so I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. At the moment, this has 1002 23,500 kV motors on it with the Gemfan tris, the 1208 tri-blades. I also have a set of 802 27,000 kV motors ready for it, the Ummagawd ones with the 1.5 mil shaft. Yeah, so I don't know. What I will say is that 802 28,000 kV, like, that's got a pretty good shot. My guess is going to be yes, that's enough. I mean, the other part of this is like, maybe that's enough for you, but not for me, or vice versa. So it's a pretty personal thing, right? Like, does this quad that I'm about to fly have enough power? Is a super, super, super individual question that we all have to answer for ourselves. You did call it a cinematic Walksnail 75, so and cinematic rigs are typically not like 10-to-1 power to weight ratio monsters. So if you really do want to fly it with that like cinematic flight style, I'll bet you'll be totally fine. I try not to just give blanket answers that I haven't like tested to death, right? So yeah, stay tuned. I'll have a much better answer for you, but my hunch is that you're going to be totally fine. Rain Squad FPV says, did you check Ummagawd new motors for the Grinderiono? I have not been on there super recently. I know last time I talked to Tommy, he was working on a higher KV for his 1605. Is it a 1605? It is a 1605. So yeah, this is the one. So he's got this 3800 kV 1605 coming, which is great. Is that what you're referring to, or is there another one? Let's take a quick look here. 2306, 2004, 1605, 3600. So all right, I'm gonna assume that it's the 3800. Yeah, 3800 is a much better KV than 3600 for 4S. I still, to be honest, wish that it was an even higher KV. I wish it was like 4000 or 4200, or to be honest, 4500. Now that we have motor limiting in Betaflight, there's kind of no reason for these motor manufacturers not to go ballistic with their KVs, and then we can just limit them down and give ourselves exactly the amount of power that we want. And then if we go to like a smaller or lesser pitch prop, we can just crank the RPM up in Betaflight and really test that prop. One of the biggest issues that we have in micros is not having the right motor that can give us the right amount of power. And sometimes that problem is based around stator size. Sometimes like there just is not the exact right stator size for our ideal build. But an equal amount of times, if not more often than that, the problem is KV. We just don't have motors with enough KV. It's a problem from 1.2 inch propellers on these 65 millimeter tiny whoops all the way up to 3 inch, 3.5 inch propellers. Most of the motors are not a high enough KV. Sure, you can go from 4S to 5S to help with that, but like the 5S battery selection sucks, and then the 5S voltage is going to be harder on a lot of these AIOs that we're running, or these tiny little lightweight 20x20 ESCs that we're running. 4S is really king for anything smaller than like 4 inch, let's say. So yeah, it's a shame. I really wish that the motor manufacturers would listen more to the people that are really flying hard and flying a lot, and add 500 to 1000 kV to just all of their motors and just let us pick the RPM, right? Like, motor limiting works so well that it's just silly to not use it. Like, it really is. Anybody who has used motor limiting extensively on like a bunch of different rigs will understand this. Like, it's magic. This is what's happening here. Why is this? Did this get zoomed in? This should be a little bit wider than that. There we go. That's better. The hell happened? Stuff got all knocked out of whack. Oh, no, that ain't it. There we go. That's a little bit better. Well, now I'm too far off to the side. Hold on. Come on. There we go. There it is. That's better. So, yeah. That's all I have to say about that. AJ Farah says, do you turn one direction easier than the other? We all do. I can flow right through a left turn, but turning right is nowhere as smooth or coordinated. Any tips to turn right better? Yeah, that's everybody, AJ. You just and the tip is to just notice it, right? And so it's, we learned this in therapy. Everything starts with noticing. Like, you have to see it first, right? It seems very like obvious, but it's really not, because it pops up all over in life. Step one, and the most important step, is to notice it, and you have noticed it. So like the hardest part is already done. At this point, you just have to turn right more. Like you have to just have it in your head. Put it, you can put it up in your OSD. You can change your name in your OSD to like turn right, idiot, or something like that. Don't put idiot. Don't be mean to yourself. But yeah, just noticing it, and then you'll start to. Ideally, you want everything to be 50-50, right? But you have fallen into. We all have fallen into a trap of turning left more often, and so we have to turn right more often to like offset that. And what's nice is eventually, so like you're over here now, and then you're gonna go over here, but then naturally you'll come back to the center. One thing that I have really worked hard to force myself to kind of see when I'm flying is like there to almost everything that you do, there is a reason to either roll right or roll left. Like you almost never center punch a gap absolutely perfectly where it doesn't matter if you turn to the right or turn to the left. You almost always are going to line something up, or there's a building on your right and you want to knife edge it, right? It only makes sense to turn left in this case to knife edge that building. So yeah, there's you need to like look ahead to see that, and you just need to have that in your brain, right? And it's actually like in my opinion, like a higher level kind of flight thing is that so if there's a dive gap, you're going to be off one side or the other. Don't just rotate left because you always rotate left and then try to find your way down into it. Let the rotation push you and make the correction for you. So if the dive gap is here and you're coming off to my right, I'm going to always turn left to dump down into it, because in the process of turning left, the right motors fire up, and that makes the rig travel to the left a little bit. So like sometimes it's almost imperceptible, but it's always there. The motors always make more thrust than they can break down. So whenever you turn a rig, whenever you go inverted, it is going to impart a little bit of movement in whichever direction that you turn over. And then like once you kind of have that in your head when you're flying around, like you'll see a situation where you're like, I'm going to turn over in that direction, or I'm going to turn up on my side in that direction. And there'll even be things where it's like, oh, I never thought to wall ride that. Well, that's perfect. I'm about to hit the wall. Let me snap up, and in the process of knife edging, it's gonna pull you off the wall a little bit, and then maybe you'll just boom and just bump into it and keep going, and it can actually make you fly better. So, yeah, there's a bunch of tips for you, but the main thing is that you noticed it. Most people don't notice it. I can't tell you how many times I get into the goggles with somebody, and I'm like, so when are you going to turn right? It's just a super common thing. Orbits are the best example of it. You ask somebody to do an orbit, they're always going to do a left orbit. And then if you ask them to do a right orbit, you can tell immediately whether they've ever noticed that they turn left more often than right. Because if they haven't noticed it yet, they will not be able to orbit to the right. If they have noticed it, they'll be able to orbit to the right, but they're never as good. Nobody's ever as good at right. I guess it would be clockwise orbits if you're looking down from above. It's pretty funny, myself included. So yeah. Great question, brother. Where are we at? Sam Salder with a 350 super chat. Thank you, homie. He says, took your advice, but you don't have an RDQ link. I don't. RDQ does not give us plebs affiliate links, unfortunately. They require 10,000 plus subscribers for some strange reason. I'm fine with that. RDQ is my least favorite of the US resellers. They have the worst customer service. They make you jump through the most hoops. And they're the most like business first of the FPV resellers. The other big resellers are much more charitable. They're much more like, hey, we're in this to kind of build a community. They don't sort of hide behind the like business bullshit as badly. So yeah, I personally prefer to support Get FPV, Newbie Drone, and Pyro Drone much more than RDQ. It just so happens that yeah, they have some weird thing about giving out affiliate links. So yeah, it's fine. I order from RDQ when I have to, when everybody else is out of stock or they have something specific. And you know, this stuff shows up in time, but I can't tell you how many folks that I've heard of, and I've personally seen this where you try to do a return with them and they ask you a whole bunch of questions and they make you take pictures and all this shit, and it sometimes it really feels like, and this is a business tactic, right? This is just good business. They try to drag it out as long as possible so that you'll just they seem to try to drag it out as long as possible so you'll just give up and say to hell with it. You know, I'm now like 3 hours into this return process for a $25 motor. Fuck it, I'm just going to buy another motor. I don't have the time or the patience to deal with this. And yeah, I mean, I would like to think that that's not what it is, but sometimes it feels like it's like there's some of that going on, and that's, you know, that sucks. But I don't know, plenty of really good resellers out there. Thank you so much for your super chat, Sam. I really appreciate it, man. Adam Weston says, ever consider the eBay affiliate program? I'd click through your link, no idea what the deal is other than it exists. I did not know until you said that eBay had an affiliate program. I am opening up a tab right now and searching for eBay affiliate program. Usually with affiliate programs, you just go on a website and fill your info in, you're done, and all's right with the world. They get benefits, you get benefits, and it's great. It doesn't make really any sense to have any requirements around it, or to limit it. But hey, yeah, if they let me sign up, I'll sign up for sure. Thank you for letting me out. I didn't know that. I literally did not know that was a thing. CMYK says, oh shit, how'd the QX7 work out? It worked out awesome, dude. Thank you so much. Christmas was that much extra cool because of it. Sam Stalder says 50 character limit on the super chat, but I took your advice on my 65mm build. Thanks. Nice, dude. Very cool. Yeah, the ultimate freestyle 65 build is magic. Chase says, it's been a while, man. I've missed a ton of streams due to working while you stream. Jersey Mike's has me working all the time. Good to have you back, brother. Hopefully you have a little bit more free time, or you've just figured out another way to watch them. If you can maybe keep like an earbud in, Riot 9 actually makes audio versions of all the live streams. If you want to kind of jump back in, you have a way of doing that. That's another way that some folks have figured out to kind of get all the gangly into their lives without having to watch the big dumb face. Chase also says, I became a Tiny Whoop Patreon member a while ago and wanted to ask if the subscription cancels on its own. I want to stay a member, just don't know for sure if I still am. No, well, I mean, it depends. It depends on how you set it up. Patreon actually changed some of their settings a while ago, and a bunch of people were telling me when that happened that their auto renew got like turned off on them. So you might want to check, log into Patreon, and I don't know where to tell you to go, but their website's pretty slick. I'm sure you'll find it in 5 minutes. But yeah, if you set your Patreon up at some point to be recurring, I can no longer say like, yes, it's definitely still recurring because of that weird change that they made. The change they made had to do with when the billing cycle would happen, beginning of the month versus like the date that you originally signed up. And yeah, I lost like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars of patrons like overnight when they made this change at some point this year actually. So definitely check it. Ethan W says, just found out there's an RC Drift Club super close to my house, and I was thinking of asking if I could chase some cars. Excited. Nice, dude. They will almost certainly welcome you with open arms. If not, send them one of my edits from my channel, and they'll see that and be like, holy shit, you can do this? Yeah, please come on out and chase us around. I have found, in the past like 48 hours, I have found a bunch of really cool RC drift content producers, a couple people that are actually also chasing them with tiny whoops, and yeah, some really cool stuff. So, and there's even like a big like US of course event where all the best guys come and there's prize money and all kinds of shit. So yeah, it's a real thing. Z-Bear says, good to see you up and at it. Thank you, dude. Zach says, did you get a set of those new Tiny Whoop 702 36,000 kV motors? They are on the way. Brad Minded says, so I'm planning on going all Walksnail. My question is, should I buy top quality Skyzone 04, new Avatar, which is kind of getting bad reviews, or go Avatar V1, which is now 380 new? The Avatar V1s have been amazing. I'm so impressed by them. I don't have any complaints at all about the V1 avatars, and $380 is like a great deal. At $380 down the road, if you sell them, you'll probably get like $370 for them. So yeah, that's a really, really, really good deal. I have an awful hard time telling anyone to buy analog goggles at this point. Like new, sorry, new analog goggles. I have a real hard time recommending anyone buy new analog goggles. OG Fat Sharks are amazing. They are super durable. These Fat Shark HD3s I bought the day that the HDOs came out. That's how long I've had these. I have probably flown, I don't know, 20, 30,000 batteries through with these goggles on my face. And like every once in a while now, when I power them on, they won't power the receiver on, and I just have to turn them off and on. Other than that, these have not let me down once. Like, it breaks my heart that it's kind of starting to look like Fat Shark might go away, because like they don't have any products left that they make new, and I don't think any. Maybe do they? I guess maybe they still make HDO2s. I don't know, but it certainly feels like Fat Shark might kind of go away soon. And like that is so heartbreaking for all of us that are sort of the old guard, who, you know, like Fat Sharks were like a status symbol back then. Like I have never felt so fancy than when these goggles showed up, and I had for about an hour like the newest and best Fat Shark goggles. The story behind it is that when I finally did buy a set of Fat Sharks, I got HD3s and they were brand new, and I bought a new set of goggles, and it was crazy and they were expensive, and they showed up at my desk at work, and 2 hours after they showed up at my desk at work, all over Facebook was, oh, announcement, brand new Fat Shark HDOs, they've got OLED screens, holy shit, they're the greatest things in the world. And I was like, really? I got 2 hours of having the newest and best fucking product? And I mean, they weren't shipping at that point, so like there was probably like a week, but still, yeah. Fat Shark just did it right, man. They were a cool company, couple dudes that focused on quality and just nailed it. And so yeah, if you need analog goggles, buy old Fat Sharks. Buy HD3s. You could probably get a set of HD3s for like, I don't know, $150, $200. That is a great deal. You can get HDOs, HDO2s for a little bit more money than that. Yeah. Used Fat Sharks are the way to go. And then if you go to sell them at some point, you will sell them for pretty much exactly what you bought them for. And that's the real magic, right? You don't get any of that drive it off the showroom and lose half its value effect. So that's going to be my recommendation. If you need analog goggles, get used Fat Sharks. I would not hesitate to get Avatar V1s. They are awesome goggles. It really feels like the new Walksnail goggles are going to take a while before the bugs are worked out, because it feels like every week somebody finds another just insane thing in those goggles. Currently, there's some real weirdness with them playing static instead of garbage video. Like if you use analog through the Walksnail X goggles, instead of showing you, like if your feed is clear, it's fine. But as soon as you start to like push the range and start to get garbage in there, it like plays pre-recorded static, it seems. It's really weird. There's a couple videos about it. It feels like it's something in the software that they will fix. It feels like maybe it was a placeholder that they just kind of put in there and thought maybe nobody would notice, or I don't know. But I have a feeling that they'll fix that. But good Lord, yeah, the new Walksnail goggles are I don't think right now is a good time to buy them. I'm pretty confident that they'll figure out what's going on with them and they'll fix all the nonsense. Because like, you know, that's just sort of everything nowadays, right? Like every single video game that comes out blows for the first couple of weeks before they fix issues. Christ, Gran Turismo 7 is just now, like a year after it launched, getting good with updates. Yeah, it's just sort of the way things work now. Companies put out basically prototype products and then just let all of us idiots that jump in on them and pre-order and get them fresh be their R&D testers, and then they improve them, and eventually they're a really good product. But for the first 6 months or so, most products are kind of a disaster, it feels like, anymore. So yeah, I would stay away from the new Walksnail goggles. If you're desperate to jump on Walksnail, the V1s are awesome, and you at $380 you'll probably get damn near that when you go to sell them someday when their Goggles X are figured out. Bryce Miller with a $6.90 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, after flying sims on and off over the past several years, I finally bought a Hummingbird V3. Can't wait to crash into my entire house. Bryce, thank you so much for the generous super chat. You're going to crash a lot. I love that you already know that you're going to. Embrace the crashes. I have, my Hummingbird V3 has been very durable. So beat the hell out of it. Eventually you will break something. Celebrate that as well, right? Like you'll be able to fix it in the warmth of your house. You won't be in the garage punching things made of metal, like we do when we work on cars. The whole thing. And hey, when you break stuff, you can replace it with something better. So it's just an excuse to upgrade. So yeah, man, you've got the absolute right attitude already, and that's super helpful. I get messages from folks that are like, "Hey, I'm so tired of crashing into everything in the house. What am I doing wrong?" And I'm like, "No, you're doing it right. Like being able to crash into things safely and not destroy them is the utter magic of Tiny Whoops. You need to laugh when you crash. You know, like." For me, it's really drastic because I came from this world of motorsports where, like, if you crashed, you could die, or at best case scenario, it was just really expensive. So yeah, the fact that we can crash and it's cheap to replace, easy to replace, and we can upgrade stuff when we're replacing, that's magic. So yeah, you got the right attitude already, brother. Way to go. You've obviously been watching these live streams and watching me fly because I crash a lot. Frankie BFPV says, thanks for helping me stay sane, brother. Still healing, but feeling better every day. Love it, dude. As Clam Man used to tell us all the time, never give up. Mick Bucas says, broke my fingernail with my 75mm belly arming. It's no joke. Did you really? I would not think a 75mm would be able to break a fingernail, but is it 2S maybe? That's pretty impressive. Scott FPV says, I normally leave my throttle up. I guess I didn't this time and paid for it. It's like you said, now I'll be extra careful for a while. Yeah. Yeah, the throttle thing works really well. It's not infallible though. Especially like if you run your throttle really loose, which you should, you know, the way that I set the throttle tension is basically that it will, if I push it, and there it is. So if I push it all the way up, it'll just barely stay. Like if I just pull my finger off quick, it'll fall. But if I like carefully remove my finger, it'll stay. The throttle will stay up. When your transmitter is laying flat, it's not an issue. But like my thought process is that if my transmitter stands up like this, I want the throttle to stay up. I don't want the throttle to automatically drop down to 0, because of what we were talking about earlier. Having the throttle, to me, having the throttle really loose is really important, because throttle resolution is the most difficult of all of the inputs, and the looser the throttle is, literally, the more sensitive you can be on it, because it has less resistance, so you can make a smaller change in the throttle. So yeah, there's that, and I don't talk about that much, but yeah, it's important. Like, in my opinion, the best possible way to set the throttle tension on your transmitter is to set it so that when you push it all the way up, it'll just barely stay up there. If you tap, it'll fall. Like if you just, and like I said, like if you just, like, it wants to fall. If you give it any reason to fall, it will fall. That is the minimum, right? Because when you place it up there, it'll have just enough to stay, and when your transmitter's flat, it'll be good to go. And you don't have to use like any kind of like grease or lube or anything like that to do that. Just clean it every like once a year or so. I pop it open and clean the so there's a piece of metal, and then there's the plastic thing that looks like this. And after the plastic rubs in the metal, eventually little plastic shards get in there, and it'll start to get a little bit gritty. Just go in there with a Q-tip, clean it out, and away you go. You can use, if you use any kind of like grease in there or lube in there, just make absolutely sure that grease is safe on plastics. And just use the absolute tiniest little bit of it. You don't want grease getting all up in there. Limit says, thanks for your answer, mate. I won't miss that stream. I've been waiting for your 75mm Walksnail to get in the air for a long time, lol. Yeah, it's getting up in the air on that stream for sure. Weebleed's in the house. What's up, Zotech? How are you, brother? Veritas User says NASCAR drivers never learn to turn right. They did indeed. That's not true. They run. Is it Watkins Glen? I forget. There has almost always been one non-oval racetrack on the NASCAR schedule. Back when I was into it, I haven't been in NASCAR in a long time, but. Yeah, there was usually at least one stop where they would turn the steering wheel to the right. But yeah, that's like the funny joke about NASCAR drivers. J-Spin says, losing my mind on this toothpick build. Throttle up and it yaws, then disarms. Check board orientation, motor map, motor direction, props, screw length. Look for shorted pads, ideas. Gyro might be shitting the bed. That's a definite possibility. Throttle up and it yaws, then disarms. Board orientation, motor map, motor direction, props, screw length. I think that's everything. I think those are all the common suspects. Well, so check everything again. I know that sounds crazy, and you probably have already checked everything twice. I swear to God, check it a third time. Start replacing stuff. Replace a motor. Replace like propellers. It's hard, man. Like there are a bunch of things that can cause it, and like. You always forget obviously, like you always forget the one. Could be a hardware problem. The gyro could have let go. Gyros are the bane of our existence sometimes. Yeah, I mean, you've already checked all the main things. Somebody in chat will think of the thing. So look at chat now, and someone will have another idea. But yeah, you've hit the usual suspects. Plug it into Betaflight and move it around on the setup screen to make sure it's moving around in Betaflight the way that you expect it to be. Go into the receiver tab in Betaflight and make sure that all your stick inputs are on the correct channels and make sure that they're going the correct direction in the correct channels. Yeah, I can't think of anything else at the moment. If it's still doing it in another couple days after you've checked everything again, you can message me and I'll think a little bit more about it. But I think it's tough. Veritosis says, RDQ made me send pictures, make a video, send messages to and from China. Here you go. And then I told him I want to buy money back toward the same... What? And then I told him I want to buy money back toward the same drone I had previously purchased. I don't know what that last bit means, Veritas. I'm missing context on that last part, but there you go. That I have heard that exact story that Veritas Weasel just told us more times than I can count. And so yeah, I RDQ is absolute last resort for me, which is a shame because they have a great selection and they ship really fast. But yeah, Sam Stalder says, feel you about RDQ. I had to order a part for something else and they were the only ones in the US that had in stock, plus they're closest to me. Yeah, I mean, no, like, I don't think any less of any of you guys for ordering from RDQ. I just, I come on here for 2 hours at a time and I tell you guys what my experience has been in FPV, and this has been my experience, so it kind of is what it is. But yeah, if they're the only ones that have it, you better damn well believe I'm ordering from them. Bo Weber says, what's up? Sorry I'm late, but I made it. It's all good, brother. CMYK dropping the Weebleed affiliate link. Thank you for that. Metal Ertzkin with a $10 super chat. Thank you, homie. He says, finally got a new 3D printer, so I guess I feel like setting all my money on fire. You better take some now. Thank you, dude. Metal Ertzkin just got himself into a new expensive hobby. Way to go. Adam Weston says, please talk about setting your other spring tensions too. Thanks. Great reminder, Adam. Jesus, thank you for that. A not commonly talked about thing is spring tension, and it's incredibly important. Spring tension over here on pitch and roll is pretty on you. But what I can tell you is that almost every transmitter comes with too much spring tension here. And the problem with too much spring tension is when you hit the center point, it's like, so you pull it to one side and a spring starts to stretch. You bring it back to center. That spring is going to hit a point where it no longer stretches, and then you're going to engage the other direction of the spring. So what happens with a lot of spring tension is that in the middle, and I can't even do it because I have my spring tension set very light, but there's a stop in the middle. So if you have a nice smooth movement going and you cross the center point, the quad will rotate one direction, it'll noticeably stop, pause, and then rotate the other direction. And I hate that. If I want like a nice smooth back and forth, I don't necessarily want it to stop in the middle. And if you have a lot of spring tension, like it's going to stop no matter what, right? Like with many things, like I approach them where, like, if I want to do something, I don't want the gear to hold me back, right? And the spring tension, if there's a bunch of spring tension here, as soon as it hits the middle, you're going to have to push, and keep adding more force before it engages that spring and comes off of center. And I don't want that. Like, if I want it to be perfectly smooth going across that center point, I'm going to set the spring tension to do that. So, in my opinion, your roll and pitch stick should have enough tension so that you can feel where the stick is, but not enough tension where when you hit that center point, there's a noticeable stop and then it goes it continues to move. There is too little spring tension though. If you have too little spring tension, as you move the stick towards the end of its travel, you won't be able to feel that. Like, you want to have a little bit of spring tension towards the when you're making tiny little movements. You want a little bit more spring tension in the middle, and then you want a noticeable amount of extra spring tension when you get to the end of the travel. This way, at any given time, like if you're like if you're, you know, pitching, I'm having to reverse everything in my brain. It doesn't matter. If your stick is over here, you don't want to have to look down at the transmitter to see like, oh, I'm not near the end yet. Like, you want to be able to feel the spring kind of load up towards the end. So there is such a thing as too little spring tension. You'll kind of know it when you have it. You'll just start flying kind of weird, and like, yeah, you want to just be able to, like, before you hit the end of the travel, have some idea of where where the stick is. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Now, the throttle and yaw stick is a whole different scenario. We talked about the throttle motion. The yaw spring is something that it took me forever to kind of figure out, but there is a little bit of a trick. A really common thing when you start to move the throttle quickly is you'll push a bunch of yaw in when you stab or when you drop the throttle. And so, in my opinion, the yaw spring should be damn near what the spring tension comes from the factory, if not a little bit more. So, like, on my transmitter, like, I'm going to try to push these with the same amount of force. This is going to be impossible to do, but if I push these with the same amount of force, like, see that? Like, you see how much quicker this one got there? I'm just trying my best to push both of my fingers in with, you know, 1 joule of force, or whatever the fuck they mentioned force in. But yeah, there should be more spring tension, in my opinion, on yaw than on pitch and roll. Because the more spring tension there is here, the cleaner your throttle stabs and chops are going to be. The spring is literally going to prevent you from rocking the stick over. And if you're doing this, you probably don't even know it. The easiest way to figure that out is that every single time you go to do like a power loop or something, if you've perfectly lined a power loop up and you come up, and then when you snap it back and you see where you're going, if you're like, wait a second, I'm not lined up all of a sudden. Like, if you know you lined it up perfectly, but then you power loop and all of a sudden you're not lined up, you're pushing yaw. I can almost guarantee you that you are pushing yaw in as you raise the throttle. And part of that is on you. You need to move the stick cleaner. You need to, like, the tendency is to kind of do this, and this motion is an arc. You need to kind of bend your, man, is it hard to, but you need to bend, instead of this, you need to be doing this. You need to bend this knuckle in your thumb in order to cleanly pull it down. Here's the test. Crank the shit out of this, not like crazy, but crank the yaw spring up quite a bit, and you'll really notice it. Because you'll notice that you're pushing into it, and then as you, what's cool about with the first time that you crank the yaw spring up is that once there's a bunch of spring tension, when you push hard enough to break it off of the 0 point, you'll feel it. And so all of a sudden you'll go to stab the throttle and you'll feel yourself push it off of the 0, and you'll be like, okay, right. And now not only does it make it easier because it's right, the spring is literally trying to make sure that it stays zeroed, but you will feel it much more easier when you make that mistake, and you'll fix it more. One of the easiest ways to fix that mistake, it's kind of a sloppy way, but A really easy way, if you absolutely know that you're going to slam full throttle, is to actually take your thumb all the way off if you pinch, and just slam the throttle up and down with your index finger. Because your index finger, your thumb is really the problem. Your thumb is what wants to make this weird arc. Also, it's always to the right. If every time you do one of these throttle stabs, you're off to the right, if it's always to the right side, that's exactly what's happening, because it's always in this direction that you're kind of pushing it. So yeah, your index finger. I will use my index finger to pull the throttle down perfectly clean to this day. But for a while, I was playing around with using my index finger to push the throttle up if I knew I wanted to stab it. The problem is if you're in the process of doing that and you decide that you don't want the throttle to go all the way up, it's harder to stop it. Like there's already momentum and it's going to go to full throttle. So nowadays I keep the throttle a little bit more under control with a pinch. But to this day, I will pull down on the throttle. If I know I'm chopping the throttle, I'll get my thumb out of there completely. Just pull my thumb to the left like this and just let my index finger pull it straight down. And that way you'll dump the throttle straight down. Because it happens just as much on a throttle chop as the stab of the throttle. You can add that little bit of yaw and it makes a big difference. When the better you get, the more of a difference it makes, because the better you get, the smaller the gaps that you start to line up and the more precise that you get. So yeah, thank you for reminding me of that, dude. That's we don't talk about that very much. And when you start to get good, this is the kind of thing that really does make a difference. So you might as well fix it now and just, yeah, it'll help you fly better. It will literally help you fly better. Veritas Weasel says, I told RDQ I wanted my money back so I could buy the same drone. So I could buy the same drone from them. Unfortunately, they don't let you edit your comment. Gotcha. That makes sense. I don't know how to pronounce that. Sloop, maybe? Says, do you have any tips for replacing the Hummingbird props? I'm kind of going insane. Yeah, one of the things I really don't like about the newbie drone propellers is how hard they are to get off and on. The best possible solution to the problem is this Tiny Whoop prop puller. Unfortunately, as soon as they come in stock, they sell out, and they are currently sold out. Before this product came out, my prop removing magic item was this Weeha chip lifter. Hold on. If you search Amazon for Weeha, oh god, that was a noise, 26810, or just Weeha chip lifter. This thing, can you please focus? Holy cow! It has this little tip here on it, and that little slot in the, wow, Logitech. This is next level uselessness. Really? There's a huge burst of contrast right in the center of the frame. How can you not focus on that? Wow. Wow. Jesus. Okay. So that little slot there is almost exactly 1 millimeter. So you can get it in and just kind of pry it up. What you want to be doing is you want the you want to be prying against the motor bell. That is the safest way to do it. You want to be pushing the prop up against the motor bell like this. You don't want to just grab the whole damn thing and just try to yank the prop off. That's going to try to pull the shaft out of the bell. So yeah. Weeha chip lifter is a pretty good tool. It was the best tool that I could find. I used to, and I still kind of, sort of, maybe recommend that you try to rotate the prop while you pull it off. The problem with rotating the prop as you pull it off is it's hard on the motor. It can cause the motor shaft to slip on the bell. So like in your case where like you're just desperate to get the propeller off, yeah, try to twist, try to get a grip on the motor bell, and then twist the prop to get it up and off. Don't do that forever though. Just do that this time. And then, yeah. On Amazon, you can also buy a 0.98 millimeter drill bit, and then you can drill your props out to 0.98 mil. That is just big enough where they have enough grip where they won't fall off, but you can also get them on and off pretty easily. So a couple different things for you to try. I feel your pain though, brother. Once you get those props off, throw them away. Gemfan props are the ones that you want. The Gemfan biblades and then the 1208 Gemfan tri-blades. Those are the two best propellers that exist. Why have I not seen any of these chat comments? Ah, there we go. There. Matt Norton says, new to FPV and starting with whoops. I'm good in the sim, but I struggle in real flight. Any good advice on it? Tiny whoops are great. They're, in my opinion, they're the best way to learn to fly, but they're very difficult to fly. When you fly outside, you fly a drone that's this big, but then you shoot gaps that are like 10 feet wide. And so it's easy. You got tons of space. And then, so the quad's this big. All right, so now we go inside. Yeah, okay, tiny whoop is significantly smaller, right? But it's only like a few inches smaller. But the gaps that you're trying to fly inside are not 10 feet wide. They're like 2 feet wide. So it's just, you just need to understand that like the difference in the difference in scale, it doesn't scale. Flying outside versus flying inside does not scale at all. It is so much harder to fly inside. Luckily, when you do fly inside, you're going to get really good really fast. Like do it, taking the easy way out and just taking the easy way out, you don't learn as quick. Swinging with a weighted bat, doing something really difficult, you're going to learn a lot faster. So you're learning a lot faster. Embrace the crashes, and just keep going. Like tiny whooping inside is 1,000 battery game. It's not 100 battery game. You're not going to be good at it in 100 batteries. You're not even going to be good at it in 1,000 batteries. You're going to be good at it in like 10,000 batteries. You just have to put the time in. Play around with your rates. Make sure that your rates are perfect for you. Most people's rates are too fast. There's tons of content here on YouTube talking about how to set your rates. My main advice when it comes to rates is to just, first of all, make sure that you're on actual rates. Betaflight actual rates are the ones that you want. There's a little drop down in the rates thing, and one of the rates is called actual. Those are the best ones, period. And just start moving them down. Move the rates down. Fly around, move the rates down. Fly around, move the rates down. Eventually, you're going to move them too far down, and it's going to be painful. Now you move them back up a little bit. But most people are flying rates that are way too fast. And when you're trying to do really precision stuff, lower rates are almost always better than higher rates. So start to pull your rates down. Make sure you're on actual rates. Embrace the crashes. Love that, no one died when you crashed. And just keep at it, man. The FPV is incredibly difficult top to bottom. Tiny whooping in the house is next level difficult. You just got to keep going. Yeah. Love the fact that you're not at work. H Rich tagged me but didn't say anything. Here he goes. Good to see you. Hope you're feeling better. Just got a Mobula 6 finally in the UK. Planning on ordering 32,000 kV motors from Tiny Whoop US. What else should I get from Jesse? Meteor 65 frame in pink on the way. Here's going to be my recommendation, H Rich. Go through Jesse's entire website. Jesse's website is my favorite to go through top to bottom, and there's all kinds of cool stuff on there. And just reading his descriptions. Someone's calling me. Why is someone calling me? Who is it? Why? What? Who is this? CQBFPV is calling me on Discord for some reason. I don't remember what I was saying. Things. Yeah, tinywhoop.com. Go through. Hey, let's go to tinywhoop.com. Yeah, go through the entire website, read all of the descriptions. Jesse is a brilliant guy, and his descriptions will teach you a lot. So yeah, take like 2 or 3 hours and go through the whole website and read a ton, and you'll learn a whole bunch. One of the big things I wanted to do on today's stream, though, is talk about all of the new motors that Jesse's got on here. So let's just dive in. Although actually, we can take a quick look. No, it's just on mobile. On when you go to his site on mobile, it shows you all of his products from newest to oldest. Oh, I guess this is doing it too, though. All right, sweet. No, sort by. Here we go. Date new to old. Cool. So all of the brand new motors are now up top here. Hands down, the most interesting ones are the Firefly. They are called the Firefly. Somebody asked earlier, have you seen do you have Fireflies yet? Jesse offered to send me a set of these. Very, very cool of them. 702, 36,000 kV. I have tested 702, 34,000 kV motors, and I could not feel a difference between those and 32,000 kV 702s. I talked to Jesse about these, and so yeah, I provided that feedback, and that was sort of the end of it. I talked to Jesse about these. I was like, "Yo, what's going on?" And he said that T-Dog tested these a bunch, and T-Dog is a miles better pilot than I am, and he could feel a difference between these 36,000s and the 32,000s. So one of two things is happening. Either I suck, which is a definite possibility, or I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. But hopefully more of what's happening is that once we got to 30,000 and then 32,000, the difference in performance became much smaller. Like when you go from like 26 to 28 to 30, it's super obvious. Like it is super, 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 super obvious when you make each one of those steps. When you hit 30 and then you go up to 32, you can tell, like but it's not nearly as obvious. And so my best guess is that when I then went from 32 to 34, the difference was small enough where I really couldn't tell. And so when we go from 32 all the way up to 36, I think then it's enough of a gap where it's easier to tell the difference between the two. I told, like, I was tempted to buy these motors, but my experience with the 34s, I didn't necessarily like them. And so basically I would not buy these motors. It's super cool that Jesse is sending these to me. I would not have bought these though, just because of the experience that I had with the 34s. And it's the same thing that we've been talking about recently of the 32,000s and the 30,000s, which is that what I've started to notice is that like for the first 30 seconds or so of the battery, the 32,000s absolutely blast and they are nuts. But then the battery sag comes down and they basically become they feel just like the 30,000 kV motors. And so like it's fun to have that first 30 seconds of utter chaos, but like I actually kind of prefer to have, I don't know. I kind of do. I don't know. Like I'm flying tiny whoops for fun. even though I'm flying them on the stream and you guys are watching, I'm still flying them for fun. Like, I have not gotten a paying gig to fly a tiny whoop yet. If I had paying gigs to fly tiny whoops and absolute precision and accuracy and not hitting someone was the number one priority, which it is on all the actual, you know, flying gigs that I get, I would probably be moving to 30,000 kV motors. But the 32s are just, they're just such, it's just so crazy what these little fuckers can do on those motors for that first 30 seconds or so. And like, I know to expect it. I know that the first 30 seconds are going to be nuts, and then they're going to settle in, and they're going to feel just like the 30s. So, yeah, like, for racers... So, not even for racers, just... So, if it's about fun, these 36s might be super rad. I don't know. I'm really looking forward to testing them, but... yeah, every time that I fly the ultimate freestyle whoop that I built like all of a month ago with the 30s, I've had these 702 30,000 sitting around for a while, and they haven't been on a quad because I've been all 32,000, 32,500. I'm so glad that I put them on that rig on that one live stream where it was like, I don't have another set of motors, let me just throw these on, because I forgot about this. I either forgot about this or I just didn't notice it. Yeah, it's just super interesting. So like, yeah, keep that in mind. If you're, so here's another scenario. I mean, the long and short of it is, if you just want to have a ton of fun, these 36s, these 32s, I don't think there's a more fun motor. I really don't. But if the goal is consistency, so like for racing, for sure, I would be on the 30s, or maybe even less than that. But also, if you are in a phase where like you're really working hard to try to get good, the consistency is actually going to help you out quite a bit. So like, if you're in a period where, yeah, that is your focus, I would actually recommend doing the 30s rather than the 32s, because the 32s, the 36s, it's going to make that process harder. And like, not harder in a way that's going to benefit you, right? There's going to be like, if you're focusing on getting better, you want your machine to be super, super, super kind of boring, because your focus is on you. You don't want your focus to be, you don't want another thing to have to kind of remember. You don't want to think like, shit, what am I, 45 seconds in? Okay, it's not going to have quite the same amount of power. So yeah, that's the best way that I think I can kind of wrap that up for you. But all that being said, I can't fucking wait for these to show up. I cannot wait to see what a 702 36,000 kV motor does. So yeah, huge shout out to Jesse for sending these over. I'm very excited. But in fairness, I have a feeling that I'm going to run a bunch of batteries on these and then take them off. I do not think these are going to stay. I have 2 sets of prototype 34,000 kV 702s that I have not flown in 6 months. I did the prototype testing. I provided my feedback, and I took them off, and I was like, nope. The difference in power from when you first start flying the battery to like a minute in to like 2 minutes in, there was just too much. And there's always going to be some battery sag, but it was like a lot of battery sag, and the frequency of my crashing was like through the roof, and I was like, all right, this is a bit much. So but man, is it cool that we are getting some crazy different KVs. We are very, very, very lucky, boys and girls. 802 19,000 kV 1.5 millimeter shaft onesies. These are pretty cool. 19,000 kV, in my opinion, is still too low, even for a 75 millimeter whoop. So these are, in my opinion, like a really durable long range ish motor, or I don't know, if you're desperate for throttle resolution, but you also need the durability, that's why you would buy these motors here. Or if you're just a huge fan of Nytfury and you want to support them, which is a totally valid reason to buy something, you know. 702 27,000 kV motors. 27,000 kV is kind of right where things start to get interesting. I still think it's too low. 702 is too small for a 75 millimeter rig. So yeah, definitely don't put these on a bigger rig. These are just for a 65 for sure. This would be a good choice for runtime. If you're racing, or if you just want more runtime than you can get from the 30,000s, you might want to get these. I don't know. I would personally just buy the 30,000s and then motor limit them down in Betaflight. But hey, that is a really cool black and blue color scheme. So if you want to buy them for that reason, I get it. I'm with you. 802EX 19,000 kV with the 1.5 millimeter shaft. Really cool that there's an 802EX with the more durable shaft. 19,000 kV, like we just talked about, is a little bit too low of a kV even for a 75 millimeter rig. So not the motor for me, but the one right next to it most certainly is the motor for me, and I can't fucking wait for mine to show up. They are on the way. 802EX 33,000 kV. This could be cool. We just recently, actually 2 weeks ago, I guess, I put a bunch of batteries through a. I broke out the. I took them off, didn't I? Yep, I did. I took them off. But yeah, there was a bunch of batteries flown on the 30,000 kV. Okay, so let me take a step back. 802EX. What the hell does EX mean? Or hex. Tiny Whoop calls it hex edition. These are lighter weight 802s. Let's see if we can zoom enough. Yeah. So it is a one-piece bell 802. And for some reason, on these little tiny motors, the one-piece bell has saved weight. Usually one-piece bell motors are heavier than two-piece bell motors. But yeah, the Happy Model originally created the 802EX as a lighter weight 802 motor. Unfortunately, when they did that, and I think like a part of the way that they were able to reduce the amount of weight is they reduced the amount of what word do I say to describe this? They reduced the amount of magnet stay in the bell ability. I don't know how to word that. Basically, the 802EX motors are plagued with magnets that have escaped the bell. If you slam, like if you flat bottom a rig really hard and the motor screws smack into a really hard surface, on the EX motors, what can happen is they'll spit a magnet out the bottom of the bell, and once that happens, it's game over. You can't glue them back. It's just, you're done. That motor's done. And so basically, as happens, the lighter weight motors are more fragile. Is the long and short of it. So that's the only pain in the ass about the EX motors. It's not that bad. It really isn't. And I actually have not had it happen yet. So it really is not that bad. And Tiny Whoop motors are so cheap that, like, fuck it, buy 2 sets of them and you got 4 extras and away you go. Or you can do stuff like there are frames where the battery tray is lower than the motor mount bases. So when it slams down flat, the battery hits first instead of the motors hitting. That was the main problem. The 802EX debacle was like right around the time that the Meteor 65 frame came out. And the Meteor 65 frame was one of the very first Tiny Whoop frames where the bottoms of the motors were the lowest point. It was one of the first times that the battery got tucked up nice and tight. So yeah, it was like a comedy of errors where like everybody was going to the Meteor frame, slapping flat bottom down, and then these motors had less retention, is the word I was looking for, on the magnets in the bottom of the bell. And loads of people were spitting magnets out of the 802EX motors. That was a long time ago. Maybe they've figured that problem out. But yeah, they're a lighter. So the 802EX, or Hex, as Tiny Whoop calls it, are a lighter weight 802 motor. They are, but even though they're lighter weight, they're still significantly heavier than 702s. And so last week, the week before that, when I probably put 20, 30 batteries through the 802EX 30,000 kV motors, I had a really hard time. I did not have a great experience with them. They're just, I'm really used to the weight of these things, and when it gets heavier, I have a really tough time. And so yeah, it was really frustrating for me. But, and what I was saying at the time was, man, do I wish there was an 802EX that was like 34,000 kV. Here we go, yo. So this could be really cool. An 802 motor is enough stator to turn a tri-blade 1.2 inch propeller. And at 33,000 kV, it's going to make a ton of power. So I think they're still going to be too much, and I actually don't think that I'm going to like them. But good God, am I curious what 33,000 kV will be like on a tri-blade. That could be really fun. So for people that are flying in bigger spots, warehouses, stuff like that, these could be the best 65 mil motor for you. So yeah, I'm really, really, really excited about that. It's really cool to see motors with higher kV. That's what I wanted to cover. These are the brand new motors on Tiny Whoop's website. And that's the main thing that I wanted to kind of go through here tonight. But we also need to do as soon as somebody told me, so those are the new motors, but Tiny Whoop got a shipment. Many more motors are back in stock over there, and these are one of the ones that did come back in stock. These are the regular 802 non-EX, so these are the durable ones with the 1.5 millimeter, a little bit more durable, with the 1.5 millimeter shaft, which is significantly more durable, in 27,000 kV. These are the Ummagawd special editions. These are, in my opinion, the best motors for a 75 millimeter analog build. The 1.5 millimeter shaft is really strong. 27,000 kV paired with the 1.6 inch Gemfan biblades makes shitloads of power. Not too much power, but just loads. And yeah, these motors are god. And the color is now different. They're like a proper purple color now. They've always said that they were purple, but the original, I got like one of the very first runs, they were more of a blue in color. Nothing wrong with that. And I kind of like the blue that the original ones were. I might even like them better than this purple, because this is kind of a light purple. Where the hell are they? I have them here somewhere. Let me guess, they're right in front of me on the desk. Yeah, of course, they're right. No, they're not. Where are they? Where the hell are the, What's happening? What? Where are they? Hey, there they are. I knew they were on a rig, I just couldn't find it. Yeah, these are the original ones. The color of the original ones. Same exact motor. So yeah, now they're actually purple. I like this blue though, this like royal dark blue. It matches. This is violet, Sane Smart Violet TPU, and this I kind of feel like matches better than the new purple. But yeah, so these are now collector's items. What do you think of that? And they're all mine. But yeah, I got a bunch of extras now. I'm going to be using these on the Walksnail builds. So I snagged 2 sets, and it's also nice to have an extra set because I think one of these is starting to get beat up. But I'm gonna have to replace just one with the purple. No, man, I can't have that. Come on now. I'll live. I'm not going to go all the way through them, but on the last stream, I gave him a huge shout out, and he's going to get another massive shout out. Frank Nicholas, dude, thank you again so much. You guys will occasionally just send me a bunch of stuff for the giveaways, and just because you don't feel like selling it and dealing with Facebook idiots, don't blame me at all. I just bought a bunch of stuff off Facebook Marketplace for Christmas, and it's such a goddamn nightmare every time. And yeah, I appreciate it so much. Frank Nicholas, hands down, wins the award for just like most mega massive crazy gear donation ever. He sent me, I shit you not, this box is like 50 pounds. He sent me 2 massive boxes of really cool stuff. Like I can't even begin to like dive into what are in these boxes. But yeah, dude, thank you so much, Frank. It is really rad. I guess he just went through like his entire collection, and like anything that he wasn't gonna fly this week, he just like packaged, ziplocked it up, and yeah, very cool. Thank you so much, Frank, man. It's super rad. These boxes, like the giveaways on this channel in 2024 are going to be fucking awesome, mainly because of the incredible generosity of Frank Nicholas. Obviously, because of the rest of you guys support me and even allow the giveaways to happen as well, right? Like, this is not me jilting anyone else, but like super generous. Really good stuff. So here we go. This is my voice starting to go. Yeah, thank you, brother. Very cool. Whew. All right. We do everything. We did everything. I'm gonna get caught up in chat, and I'm gonna chop this. It's been 2 hours though, and I don't feel that bad. I'm definitely fading fast, but let's. Oh shit! I forgot to fly. Well, I didn't put it in the title. I didn't put 6 batteries in the title, so I will fly after the live stream. Don't let me not flying on the live stream keep you from doing your 6 batteries a day. Do it. Seriously. Fly 6 batteries every day. A month from now, you will be so much better than you are today, I promise. If you fly every single day and 6 batteries only takes like 15, 20 minutes, yeah, you'll be a better pilot on everything. It'll make you a better 5-inch pilot, a better Cinewhoop pilot, a better Tiny Whooper, everything. Fly 6 batteries a day. Don't let me not doing it on stream today be the reason that you don't. And you should also be doing it on the off days. If you just do it on the days that I stream, you're still going to improve mega. But if you literally do it every single day, that's the magic. When I had my biggest improvement spurt in FPV, it was when I flew every single day. And it was a lot of simulator stuff, but still, any flying will get the job done. So get your 6 batteries in, my friends. Let me get caught up on chat, and then we will part ways for the evening. Where was I? Metadirtson says, I notice I rest my middle fingers inside the gimbal rings, maybe because I have long-ass fingers like yours. It's funny to notice little things like that. That's cool. Steve Woodruff says, WSG, I'm not good with acronyms, I don't know what that one is. Miss you on Christmas, but glad you're feeling better. I did not stream on Christmas, so you didn't miss anything. I've had the flu for the last like week and a half. So yeah. The 12-hour stream is coming up. It's going to be either this Friday or this Sunday or this Monday. I got to see how I feel tomorrow and Friday. H. Rich says, you've been inspirational in this whoop freestyle journey for me. Thanks. Your attitude to stuff makes your advice so max more palatable than many. Thank you, dude. That's very cool of you to say. Keep going. Keep going. It just gets better and better and better, man. H. Rich also says, being an autistic Uber nerd, I did exactly that. Went through everything and loved and laughed a lot. Love it, dude. Keep going, brother. Fresh Bread says, T-Bird also flies 100 packs a day. Yeah. The Tiny Whoop racers are a different breed, man. And a lot of them are also very young, so that helps. Us 40 plus, us in the 40 plus year olds club. It's sobering, man. It's sobering to just watch your reaction times just shit the bed. Greenhorn FPV says 19,000 kV is also good for underground whoop league. That's true. That's true. There are plenty of reasons for lower kV motors, but and I'm very hard on the lower kV motors because I'm only freestyle. I only care about and really talk about freestyle. And when it comes to freestyle, anything below like 28,000 kV, and there's going to be a bunch of stuff that you literally cannot do. There are just like most of the off throttle, like momentum based throw stuff that you see me doing. You just won't be able to do that. Like the higher kV motors literally open up a whole new world of flight with tiny whoops. So that's why I'm so hard on them. But there's plenty of reason for those lower kV motors to exist. Matt Edwardson says the Nytfury is UWL and around Whoop League spec, where weight is less of an issue than durability is super important. That makes sense. Very cool. Chick with the sticks in the house, digging the hair again. Thank you. Steve E says, Merry Christmas, CiottiFPV and gang. Is that a 65mm Walksnail build you mentioned? Yes, I have two of them. I have this one for freestyle, and then I have a fractal framed one for like more cinematic stuff, basically for chasing the RC drift cars. But I'm looking forward to pulling that build out of that frame, actually. Quad 66 and I are going to see if we can figure out, he is going to see if he can figure out how to do a front camera mount for my Walksnail build that will work in the Cockroach 65 V3 frame. And that would be amazing. At this point, it's sort of like, in my opinion, the only real reason to run the fractal frames is because they put the camera up front where there's no ducts in view and where it's nice and low to the ground. If we can get the camera up here in the front on a regular build, we're going to get more power, more efficiency, less weight, and yeah, like it will be better in pretty much every way. More durability. It'll actually be more durable too. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. The reason why it's maybe possible is that the Cockroach 65 V3 frame has the mounting posts not just on the top but also on the bottom. So I'm hoping that Quad 66 can figure out a little TPU method to loop it up around the camera and link it up to the front post to hold the camera up. This is a Meteor 65 frame. This is a Cockroach 65 frame. And yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is that it's kind of like rounded off here. So I don't know how that camera's going to sit. And there's a chance that the camera is going to want to go into like negative up tilt, which I'm actually not, I don't hate that. I've been actually wanting a negative up tilt tiny whoop that I can nice and slowly look down. You can, with negative up tilt, you can look down on your subject while you're flying more slowly. And that might be really cool for chasing the little RC drift cars. So I'm really, really, really excited about that. Here's the bottom post that we can maybe link up to. So yeah, shout out to Quad66. If you're not subscribed to Quad66 here, get over there. QUAD66. Awesome dude. Putting out great content, great pilot, great engineering brain. Does black box tuning and log analysis, which I don't do. So yeah, awesome dude. The other option is maybe we do something with the back, which has these little hooks for the Immortal T antenna. But I'm gonna leave that up to him. He's got a couple of these frames, so he can kind of figure it out. And he's made. I have zero 3D design or printing experience, so I'm just completely out of my depth. He's done a bunch of it. He runs a really cool little minimal camera mount on his setups that I've always been impressed with. So yeah, I'm super lucky that he's willing to spend his time on that. So that's exciting. Veritas who just says, I hope Maggie never finds out that you have a really big spurt every time you're flying. Veritas, he also says, I am mostly hard on lower KV motors because I suck. And then 661FPV with the last comment of the live stream, he says, speaking of fractal engineering, have you seen their new shirts? I would like to see your live reaction. The design may look familiar to you. Yeah, I heard about this. So I'm actually not going to show it, and I'm also really not going to talk about it because it's pretty disrespectful to the designer of the logo to do something like that. And it's just not true. Like, I'm not going to say anything more about it. It pissed me off really bad. I bit my tongue. I haven't said shit about it. I'm moving on. I'm going to take the high road and make all the jokes you want, motherfuckers. I live an awesome life. I'm surrounded by awesome people. You guys are fucking amazing, and that's enough for me. So, it is what it is. You want to fuck with me? Go right ahead. I ain't going to let it bring my shit down. So, I mean, I did. I got super pissed and angry, but yeah, I'm just not going there. And I know that it's just a joke, but look, if you spent a whole bunch of time and you had a graphic designer that spent a bunch of time designing a logo, and then somebody put something on there that's not true, it doesn't feel good. So just take my word for it. It's not a joke to me, and it pissed me off, and yeah, but that's that. Thanks for hanging, my friends. My voice held up. That's a good thing. Leo, listen to how bad. I think the goat might be finally dead. I mean, I just have to change the battery, but listen to how sad the goat has become. Oh wait, no, he's back. I hit the goat earlier, and he was like, so I thought it'd be funny to end the stream on that, but he's back. That's fine. Thanks for hanging, friends. I'll see you guys on Friday no matter what. Maybe we'll do the 12-hour stream. Maybe we won't. Be good. I hope you don't have to work tomorrow. I hope you have the whole week off. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I'll see you guys Friday. I'm not ready. I got to pick something to play here. I'm playing you out. And there's that. Here's this. And let's see if I remember how to do this. Endless loop. Oh, that works. Here we go. Be good, friends. I love you. See ya.